to step in, not only that, but to rescue their lives and show them that God cares for them, that he has a purpose for their life, just like you instill that into your own grandbabies. So grandmothers in Citrus Heights, Rockland, Roseville, Loomis, Elk Grove, Rancho Cordova, Carmichael, Fair Oaks, we need y'all to jump in right now at 888-472-2311, 888-472-2311.
And there's no better time than now to do some great for your heart, like getting back into shape at Spare Time Sports Clubs. Hey, it's Chad Roofer, Group Director of Programming at Mix 96. And now that the January fitness rush is past, this is the month to get serious. It doesn't matter if you're like me and love the treadmill and free weights, or if you're looking to try something new like lap swimming, tennis, or even pickleball. My friends at Spare Time Sports Clubs have you covered. And it's cool if you're a complete novice. They have a lot of instructors to help you out, or you can even try a group class and meet some new friends. And what's even better, an environment that makes you feel comfortable and welcome while working out, no matter if you do it because you love it or just because you need to for your health. And I have a great special for you this month too. Join any Spare Time Sports Club through February 28th and save $25 a month for 3 months. There's 7 Spare Time Sports Clubs, including El Dorado Hill Sports Club and Broadstone Sports Club in Folsom. Visit SpareTimeSportsClubs.com to find the location nearest you. Spare Time Sports Clubs, the best part of your day.
And best of all, new and used Toyotas are arriving daily at Folsom Lake Toyota during the President's Day sales event. Get a head start on spring and summer adventures in your newer quality used Toyota car, truck, or hybrid during the President's Day sales event going on now at Folsom Lake Toyota, Highway 50 Folsom exit, online at FolsomLakeToyota.com. Keeping our commitment to you for over 30 years in the Folsom Auto. Hurry, President's Day sales event ends February 20th. See Folsom Lake Toyota for details.
When you explore your world, at Disney on Ice presents Dream Big. Join Moana on her journey to believe in herself. Celebrate Miguel's passion for music. Discover the power of love with Anna and Elsa and be inspired by the Disney princesses. Your adventure is waiting at Disney on Ice. Playing Golden One Center, February 17th through 21st. Visit DisneyOnIce.com for show details and get your tickets today.
All week long at your neighborhood Rayleigh's and Bel Air stores. Take home tender and succulent USDA choice Rayleigh's boneless London broil, California raised from Harris Ranch and on sale for only $3.97 a pound. Plus, get a pound of juicy strawberries or 6 ounces of fresh raspberries, blackberries, or blueberries for just $2.49 each when you buy 2 or more. Enjoy savings on the finest ingredients in store and online from Rayleigh's and Bel Air.
The most popular street name in America? Second. But in a Hyundai, you're always driving on Easy Street with our award-winning SUVs that come in first against the competition. For starters, every Hyundai SUV comes with America's best warranty and complimentary maintenance. Plus, the Hyundai Tucson, Santa Fe, and Kona SUVs are available with premium features, like wireless device charging, Hyundai Digital Key, and blind spot collision avoidance assist. The competition? They must be back on 3rd Street, or 4th, maybe 14th. Hyundai, it's your journey. Own it. Get 1.9% APR for 60 months, or up to $500 in total savings on a 2022 Tucson or Santa Fe, plus complimentary maintenance. See your Sacramento area Hyundai dealer. For well-qualified buyers only. Offer ends 2/28/22. Call 916-398-3537 for complete offer details.
And get fresh designs for less during the President's Day event at Living Spaces. Shop a variety of in-stock styles and spruce things up fast with free next-day shipping. Plus, pay no interest for 3 years on select purchases with your good credit. Transform your living room, dining room, bedrooms, backyard, and more with the best collections at the best prices. Save big and enjoy exclusive deals only during the President's Day event at Living Spaces.
AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? So you've got an oil change coming up. We can help you save on the right oil for your vehicle. Right now, get 5 quarts of Castrol Edge Full Synthetic or Castrol Edge Full Synthetic High Mileage Motor Oil with an STP Extended Life Oil Filter for just $35.99. Visit one of our 6,000 stores or order from AutoZone.com for same-day store pickup or next-day delivery.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Band 24. The sanitizer 4 out of 5 doctors would use in their own homes. So why aren't you?
Listener thought that the one thing connecting you between work and family is your car? Brakemasters always thinks this way. It's what we like to call being in Brakemasters shape. Download coupons at Brakemasters.com. Then head home safely again.
Brakemasters.
Order them on the new Dahlia Rewards app. Price and participation may vary. About bundling your home and auto.
In sports, 3 goals is a hat trick. And when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, you get a hat trick of great savings and round-the-clock protection. So you might be thinking, wait, that's 2 things. A hat trick is 3. But in this metaphor, great savings counts as 2 goals, and so does round-the-clock protection. So it's like 4 goals, and that's more than 3. It's basic math.
Forced Metaphors, presented by Progressive. Bundle and protect today.
Listen now, the days of aches and pains are over with the new regenerative cell therapies at Modesto Physical Medicine. The medical professionals at Modesto Physical Medicine see patients like you every day. People who couldn't get off the couch, now they're golfing, hiking, playing with the kids, working their jobs. You get the idea, with no pain. These are life-changing therapies that are allowing people with chronic joint pain to feel, well, normal again. Maybe you've tried steroids and facing surgery. You're the perfect candidate for these leading-edge treatments from Modesto Physical Medicine. They alleviate the pain and actually help heal the damaged tissue with no downtime. Call Modesto Physical Medicine right now, just a few blocks north of Memorial Hospital in Modesto. Today, 209-838-3434. That's 838-3434. Call now, 838-3434.
Spilled your milkshake? Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up spills quicker. And each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less than the leading Ordinary brand. So you can get back to your milkshake. My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than your Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Also possible. With Staples Print Big Promise, your small business marketing will make a big impact. And right now, get 20% off custom printed signs, banners, and posters when you spend $75 or more. Explore what's new at Staples, the working and learning store. Ends 2/26. Visit staples.com/signage for details.
I get it. Slip it, cuff it, check it in the morning and before dinner.
I get it. Slip it, cuff it, check it, and share it with my doctor. Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor.
Now that I know my blood pressure numbers, I talked with my doctor. We're getting those numbers down.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Learn more at manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
But a good night's rest helps boost your overall health and wellness. And it couldn't be easier. The Sleep Number 360 Smart Bed effortlessly adjusts and responds to both of you. The result? You wake up ready for anything. Proven quality sleep is life-changing sleep. Don't miss our President's Day weekend special. Save 50% on the Sleep Number 360 Limited Edition Smart Bed, plus free premium delivery when you add a base. Ends Monday. To learn more, go to sleepnumber.com.
Ongoing support. Bring in a friend and you'll each save 25% when you start a program. Call 844-4REVIBE to schedule a free consultation today.
Visit Shane Company. With the state's largest selection of diamonds in all shapes and sizes, you'll find stunning natural diamonds in every price range. Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
NBC News Now, here's what's happening.
Look at what's making headlines around the world. Breaking news now.
Let's get the very latest.
Now to an NBC News exclusive.
On the ground and all over the world now.
And this is a significant moment.
There's a lot to talk about this evening. Whenever it happens, wherever you are, NBC News is streaming free on NBC News Now.
Let's get ready to rumble! Welcome to the show. My horn almost got stuck. Welcome to the show. This is Charlotte of Big C Sports, coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe. Of course, the people who love sports. That would be me too. All fair and level war. I want to say today's show is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade. They're standard in the world when you go by and test drive yours to tell them Charlton of Big C Sports Center, as well as a fleet of Cadillac cars. Today's a beautiful February the 17th, 2021. Grando Deportes, bonjour, the Bitty Bitty Pizza. You know you can follow Big C Sports Podcast all over the universe on 23 podcast applications. Really do appreciate that, because it didn't start that way. it's just growing and growing and growing. Really do appreciate everyone that decided to pick up Big C Sports Podcast. You can follow us on Google, Alexa, Spotify, Speaker Podcast, Apple Podcast, iHeart-Radio Podcast, CastBox Podcast, Deezer Podcast, Podcast Addict. Number 10 Pod Chaser. Give me some breaks. Come on. You think it's easy to count to 10? When the whole universe can see, man, can this guy count to 10? It's like the Olympics. You're going, come on. I know he can do it. I know he can do it. He did it. Count to 10. You can also follow Big C Sports on Geo Saban Podcast out of London, England, Podtail, YouTube, Hubhopper, Stitcher Podcast. You ever stitch something like got to stitch your britches? I got to stitch my britches every now and then. You can follow Big C Sports on Stitcher Podcast, Radio Line, Repod Podcast, Luminary Podcast, Listen Notes, Podcast Wise. Isn't that something? You know, you got to be wise sometime in this great country. Like they have Podcast Wise. You can follow Big C Sports on Podcast Wise. You can follow Big C Sports on Podbay. You can follow Big C Sports on Verbal Podcast. And the one that kind of scares me is allfeeds.ai. Give artificial intelligence some praise. Be careful when the robots take over. They talk so fast. But I really do appreciate the fact you can follow Big C Sports all over the universe. You can also find it streaming on 4 TV platforms: Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, and a lot of smart TVs, as I like to say, all over the universe. Really do appreciate that. You know, NBC's doing the Olympics. Haven't paid a lot of attention to it because I still have a football hangover, but I still love the thrill of victory and the agony of the feet. Okay, hold on. It's not agony of the feet. It's called agony of defeat. Like defeated, I was thinking it's agony, the thrill of victory and the agony of the feet. You know, if your feet have agony, if your feet are causing you pain, you can always wear bigger shoes, or I think they have some. You can go see your foot doctor and see if they can figure out how to fix your feet. It's all fair in love and war. But I love paying homage to my family legacy. And my great-grandmother called her Mamo the matriarch of the family. It's amazing how they wore so many tiny shoes. What is it about women that will wear shoes that are so tiny, you know it hurts, but they say you gotta look good. So thank my great-grandmother for always looking good all over the universe. Really do appreciate that. Made sure the family stayed strong together, always had food in the belly, also had a garden, all those great things that kids and grandkids need. My great-grandfather, Pop, former Negro League baseball player, also known around the church as making the best moonshine in the universe, and saying, boys, get out of that barn. Boys, get out of that barn before lightning strikes. How many times I gotta tell you guys? That still makes me laugh because my brothers and I, we would go out there and try to sneak some moonshine, and we would give it to the dogs. The dogs are always asleep. We had some pigs. We gave the moonshine in the pig trough. The pigs were always walking around really slow. And then chickens were smart. They wouldn't suck the moonshine out. Not all of them were smart. Some would drink the moonshine and be trying to fly. It was a funny watching chickens try to fly. Oh, God. Get out of that barn. Brings back a lot of good memories. Really do appreciate it. And then on my mother's side, my grandmother called her Mud Deer. She was a seer, wonderful, intelligent, smart businesswoman, always doing whatever it took to keep the family strong. She was a seer, could look at people and tell you a lot of things about them, and that's things that are going to happen to them. Oftentimes very, very accurate, too. Really do appreciate her prescience. And then my grandfather, Hezekiah, another wonderful, genuine individual, and I really do appreciate everything that he poured into my life. When you think about it, how many people can think back to a parent, a grandparent, or a great-grandparent that poured a lot of love into you, and everything they did was to make life better for you and not to have any junk stirred up in your life? And that's the kind of family that I came from. Really appreciate that. I want to say to the best mother in the history of the universe, started a Head Start program, a food program to feed people to make sure that nobody went to bed hungry, and also help win the Little League Championship of the universe. Give my mama some praise. I said give her praise. Come on, a Head Start program, a food program, and coached the Little League baseball team to the championship of the universe. Always stand, rise, and shine. Really do appreciate that. Very smart, hardworking, always stand, rise, and shine. On my father's side of the family, the patriarch of the family is Albert Curry, former pastor, had 2 churches in Oakland, California, built a 3rd church in Central California, also had 2 service stations in Oakland. And really do remember, he's just very smart, industrious, hardworking man. And then my grandmother, Alberta Curry, working hand in hand with my grandfather with the churches in Oakland, also in Central California, and also with the service stations in Oakland, California, always doing what it took to keep the family strong. And my father, former retired Air Force fighter pilot, chief mechanic, making sure planes can fly high so we could all stay safe at night. And then my beautiful brother, Todd, with his bombastic voice, sound like thunder and lightning when Todd would speak. Really do appreciate it. As I often say to Todd, say, always go forward. One of our favorite movies is Pulp Fiction. And the part that Ben Rames said to Bruce Willis, that stinging sensation you're feeling, messing with you, that's pride. Forget pride, if that makes sense to you. And he told him your butt goes down in the 4th round, and that's what the Rams told to the Cincinnati Bengals. Your butt goes down in the 4th round, and it did. And the Rams ended up winning the Super Bowl. Really do appreciate that. I love saying to my beautiful daughter, Daisy, the most beautiful daughter in the history of the universe. Very smart, intelligent, industrious, hardworking person. She graduated with honors, double majors, in 3.5 years. Daisy helped me set up my very first interview at Salem Media. Really do appreciate that. Also would help me set up when coaches would come to the West Coast and getting information about Big C Sports, as well as marketing and also merchandising. Really do appreciate that. And then my son, Malcolm, the most handsome son in the history of the universe. Really smart, intelligent, industrious college student. I like to tell Malcolm, Wakanda forever. One of our favorite movies was Black Panther. Don't let anybody hurt you. Don't let anyone hurt your family, if that makes sense to you. Malcolm sends me stats on NBA basketball. He knows NBA basketball inside and out, and oftentimes gives me stats on what's going on in the NBA. Really do appreciate Malcolm. And I also say to Big C, my partner, with all the knowledge that he's had from all the work in the past. You gotta believe, you gotta believe, you gotta believe. Give everybody some praise. Give everybody praise. Man, I think I just saw a Brinks truck. That's a clue. I had so many dreams that have been coming true. A Brinks truck, that's a nice dream to come true. Maybe there's a time for that funding. Just looking for the $100 million. I know it's there. All coming fair in love and war. At the same time, I love saying what I learned from my grandfather growing up, as he would always say as he came home from church, let's get ready to rumble! He would say, time for the shine. But I say, welcome to the show, Big C Sports Podcast. Every dominated Big C Sports Podcast. I love doing this show. You can tell I had a lot of that Big C coffee today. But there's no scripts, no 3-way teleprompters, no producer in my ear, and oftentimes people say that is painfully obvious. It's okay. You do it your way, I do it my way. Have it your way. What do they say? Oh, special pickles, special lettuce, special orders, donut. I gotta do the Burger King commercial. Oh, special orders, don't upset us. All we ask is that you let us service your way. Oh, hold the pickles, hold the lettuce. Special orders, don't upset us. All we ask is that you eat the Big C burger today and give us some praise. I think I had too much coffee. Really do appreciate that. But I always honor God, and I do the show with my higher self. I always walk in and talk by faith and not by sight. I always produce the show. I direct all the topics. I broadcast the shows. The sound effects are what's done by the platform. Really do appreciate that. We could all use more laughter in our lives. At the same time, I'm so grateful for so many things. The storytelling is done. The commercials are done. Stats providing. And then the play-by-play. I said there'd be a 3-point last night in the Golden State-Denver game, but I didn't mean for it to be by the Denver Nuggets. I was saying Steph Curry 4-3. Actually, Denver got the script. And they ended the game with a basket, a 3-point. All fair and love and war. Then I upload the show. It goes out to 23 multiple podcast applications and platforms. And then it goes out streaming to 4 TV platforms. I'd never missed a show since starting Big C Sports back on September 12, 2015 with the team. And I think it's the only sports show, in just my opinion, the only sports show in the universe that always honors God. I give scripture from the Bible. I know it's not everybody's style. Some people are atheists and they don't want to hear anything about God, but that's their problem. And one of my favorite verses growing up, I love paying homage to my family when I grew up. I often heard the scripture. It's Genesis chapter 13, verse 15, and it says, "For all the land that thou seest will I give you, and thy seed forever." In the book of James chapter 4, verse 2, said, "Ye have not, because you ask not." If you want something, just ask and give the good book some praise. Come on, give it praise, praise, praise. We cheer for football games. We cheer for basketball games. Touchdown, home run, 3-point play. Well, give the good book some praise, too. I love giving the good book praise. If that bothers some people, that's okay. All's fair in love and war. And I also want to say thank you to Xfinity Comcast TV and Comcast Spotlight Effect TV for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. Just like in Genesis 1:3. God said, "Let there be light." Open your cell phone or electronic devices and just say it. Play Big C Sports Podcast. You will see the app pop up all over the universe. Really do appreciate that. I'm also saying, in honor of Black History Month and the Black Wall Street, the Forbes magazine, you can go back a decade, and it talks about sports agents, and more men of color are getting into that industry. And as far as me, Big C Sports, doing my certification to become a sports marketing agent in 2022, working with NFL, NBA, and Major League Baseball athletes, I was invited in by one of the top attorneys in the country who does a very good job representing athletes, and really do appreciate the things that are coming. So I'm working on my certification as I speak, and that's, to me, is part of my spirit. I've been doing it for such a long time. It's easy, but the world's sports agent industry it's not as well known as you would think. Remember, "Show Me the Money" with Tom Cruise and Lee Steinberg, Cuba Gooding Jr. That was about 2 decades ago. Renee Zellweger was in there as well. And I think what the script for athletes is getting representation from people. The world's leading sports agent closed contracts totaling more than $41.2 billion in 2021. And not many people know who they are, other than a handful. And I've met many of them over the years, and talking to them, oftentimes it was kind of an oligarchy of power that would not let you in. But there was a black man that actually let me in. I interviewed a sports agent who has NBA talent back in 2018. It's amazing how doors are opening because people see the talent that you have and say, "My goodness, man, you work on my side of the business, you make millions," because sports contracts are going through the roof. And that's why people didn't understand, and they teased Michael Jordan when Michael Jordan was trying to tell people, he said the ceiling is the roof. He was trying to say he has so much money that it touches the roof and the ceiling at the same time. But it's a thing, as a lot of black Americans and black men know this, and I think black women know it too. Oftentimes when you look around the world and you want to know what's going on in the world of business, oftentimes you can get ostracized. You can get pushed aside and marginalized. Enough of that crap. If you look at where the opportunity is, the sports marketing agency is growing, especially for black Americans. If you look at the NFL draft just for last year, I believe of the top 10 draft picks, 5 of them were represented by black men. The same black men that can't get a job in the NFL. Rarely even an interview. That's called a sea change. And the world's leading sports agents nearly get about $2 billion in commissions. It's amazing how it's growing. And it's growing for black Americans. Instead of just saying, "I want to play sports and I want to be a football, basketball, baseball player," there are a lot of people that you don't even know that are making buku bucks, and the agent's fees typically capped and regulated by the players' associations with the top commissions. And FIFA allows 10% of the contracts. The Major League Baseball allows 5%, which gives a ranking advantage to soccer and baseball agents. And then the NHL, the NBA both allows fees to hit 4%, and the NFL caps out at 3%. So when someone signs a $100 million contract, that agent gets that $3 million. That's a lot of money, and you don't even have to get hit. You don't even have to get sacked by Aaron Donald. But it's just part of getting certified. And there's a lot of things that have happened in the world that tells oftentimes men and women of color, quit begging somebody for a work as a coach. You're going to get fired in a year or two anyway. We've seen that with Brian Flores, had a winning record 2 out of 3 years, and they fired him anyway. And when you think about the world's most powerful agents, they're out there doing their things. Watch the movie Show Me the Money. Was that the name of the Show Me the Money? I think it was Show Me the Money. It wasn't Show Me the Money. It was with Tom Cruise and Lee Steinberg. Why am I forgetting the name of the movie? But I remember the part, Show Me the Money. I remember that part. And that's part of what the business is. And just like if you watch the Super Bowl, Jalen Ramsey had a good game. He only got beat twice in that game. One was he was pulled by the face mask, but he got a deal with $105 million with the Rams. That's a lot of money. So his agent made probably about $3 million in that deal. And then you look at Deshaun Watson. He had a deal of $156 million for Houston. Michael Thomas had a $96 million deal with the Saints. He didn't even play that much this year. I think he was injured most of the year. So when I look at this and I realize there's a business that's open for men of color. It just is. And it's like an iceberg straight ahead. Many people haven't even seen how much more opportunity there is for men of color in finding representation for NFL and NBA and even Major League Baseball and then soccer as well, because there are more black sports agents than there are NFL coaches and NBA coaches combined. Just think about that. That has to be a clue. Because if you have the business of being in the game anyway, why not learn about the side of the business that helps you make the money? So whether it's a LeBron James or a Carmelo Anthony that are part of it, Chris Paul, when you think about some of these players, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, look at who just won the Super Bowl MVP. Cooper Kupp came out of Eastern Washington University. Even though I thought Aaron Donald should have been the MVP, came out of Pittsburgh. But all of these guys have representation. Tom Brady had an agent. I don't think Tom Brady's going to turn in the towel. He's not going to throw in the towel. I think he's still going to play. He's going to announce that after all the shenanigans are over with the draft and all the people talk about what he's doing with his company, TB12. Why would you walk away from something when you had the best year of all the quarterbacks that played behind you? It's all fair and love and war. But that's what I'm just saying as I was told, hey, Charlton, as an African-American, you can knock on all the doors you want to knock on trying to get a job coaching. You can knock on all the doors you want to knock on trying to get a job in the broadcast industry. They already set aside so many jobs for people who look like you. But if you open your eyes and you look at what's going on in the world of sports marketing agents, they go throughout the country getting talent and signing these players to contracts. And they can have multiple contracts. An athlete can only have one contract for that team. Now, they may have marketing, and that's sports marketing agencies. The money's growing. The NFL, $15 billion enterprise this year. And I think by 2027, Roger Goodell has already opined that they're expecting about $27 billion in the industry. What does that tell you? The money, like Michael Jordan said, the ceiling is the roof because it's growing and it's not shrinking. I think the NFL had 112 million people watch it this year. 112 million people. There's only 350 million people in the United States. And there was over 10 million that watched it streaming. So that's part of what Big C Sports is getting into. I also want to say thank you to the California Lottery, Powerball, Mega Millions, Super Lotto, Fantasy 5. And if you ever bet more than you can afford, they have a helpline. And Steve Mariucci, former coach of the 49ers, and I believe it's with the NFL Network, had a PSA called 800-GAMBLER. Pick up the phone, call 800-GAMBLER, GAMBLER, if you know of somebody going through issues and they oftentimes need help in scaling back the money thinking they're going to win the big prize. Las Vegas wasn't built by paying out a lot of money. And when you think about back in 2018, the Supreme Court ruled that Professional and Amateur Sports Protection Act is unconstitutional, changing the future of sports betting in the United States, and that they allowed sports betting to happen in most states. If you think about that, but there's times when people are hurt because they get hurt. Every state now available to offer sports betting, professional sports owners are among the big winners. So just keep that in mind if you know anybody going through some issues You got to see if you can get some help. If they're open to it, oftentimes they may not be open to it. That's 800-GAMBLER. I also want to say I'm really honored to all the time on every show give out the Veterans Crisis Hotline. They really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. Rumor has it they will stand on their head to get you some help. If you know anyone going through issues, 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. Or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net and give the Veterans Crisis Hotline some praise. Come on, y'all, give it praise. They are there to help people who need help. We all need help at times in life, and especially our veterans. Sometimes they're dealing with issues, and they just need someone to reach out and help them. I also want to say, I want to thank Budweiser Zero. It has 0% alcohol, 100% honest game. Sports fans, when you're watching the big game, you want to eat the Big C burger. It's a tasty burger, and it comes with what's all this exotic meat. And also, I think I've had too much of today. Coming soon, the Big C coffee. It only comes in one size, extra large. The best part of waking up is Big C in your cup. Comes in one size, extra large. And that's probably why I talk so fast. That stuff is good for you. It really keeps you awake at night. And sometimes it's not good to be awake at night, but that's been happening when I drink my coffee late at night. All friend level war. I'm going to take what's called the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. When I come back, I'm going to talk about things in the NBA basketball universe before we get up on the All-Star break weekend. In the words of former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'll be back. All right, we're back for the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 23 podcast applications all over the universe and streaming on 4 TV applications as well. Want to get into Big C's NBA basketball power rankings. There's so much good happening right now in the world of sports. Just finished with Super Bowl 56, and now people are getting tuned up for NBA basketball. When I think about one of the teams that's doing the great job right now of running the fast break, the Phoenix Suns, they've continued to dominate the league, and right now they are looking good as holding on to that top spot going into the NBA All-Star rankings. This are the All-Star game coming up over the weekend. And you also look in the Eastern Conference. Who would have ever thought that Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls... Well, hold on. Oh, that's an old script. But the Chicago Bulls, they're the Eastern Conference leading right now. They had a great week despite losing one of their All-Stars, the great Zach LaVine, to a knee injury. Really sorry to hear that. But their team is good. Other All-Star, the great DeMar DeRozan, has reached a top level in scoring efficiency, doing something that even the great legendary Wilt the Stilt Chamberlain did not do as an NBA player. And he's just been an amazing player. I'm telling you, they're a good team in Chicago. It's great when you have basketball that's at a high level in Chicago. Usually, I think Los Angeles, Boston, Miami, Golden State. And now you're swinging around to Chicago again, not just allowing Milwaukee to take over in the Midwest, but I really like the way they're doing. The Boston Celtics also playing like the great Johnny Morris as broadcaster their games again. Larry Bird with the steal. Larry Bird scores, and they deep sweep the Detroit Pistons. The great Johnny Morris back there. At the same time, you think about some of the teams that gave up some big players. Dallas Mavericks also, they're moving up a little bit better. The great Luka Doncic has the chance to do his thing. The Golden State Warriors dropped a couple of spots, had kind of a tough slide, but they'll get back in the saddle again. All fan level were the defending NBA champion Milwaukee Bucks. They're also telling everybody, not so fast, my friend, when you're trying to replace them as the reigning NBA champions. That's what the things that I love about the NBA. NBA is amazing. It's a sport where I remember growing up on the playgrounds, watching the NBA basketball on TV, and then going across the street to the playgrounds, trying to play and realizing it's a tough game. But Orlando, starting them at number 30, going up to number 30 in Big C's NBA power rankings. The Orlando Magic, Orlando lost to 4 pretty good teams this week, and none of the other games were really close. But they're a good team. Wendell Carter Jr. leads that team in scoring and rebounding. They're a good team in the future. They're not good now. The Houston Rockets come in number 29. The Rockets lost by a big way to the Raptors and the Jazz before almost pulling off an upset over the Suns, but they're not going to get that kind of headline knocking up the Suns. I want to also look at the Oklahoma City Thunder, those good old boys. They went 1-3 this week. It's only going to have a win coming against the New York Knicks, who've been struggling for some reason. The New York Knicks were doing their thing last year, but this year they decided to say, not so fast, my friend. We don't want to win. So fair enough. The Detroit Pistons coming in at number 27 in Big C's NBA power rankings. They lost to the Grizzlies, and the Grizzlies are good. The Hornets and the Wizards to start the week. And then somehow they managed to beat one of the top teams in the NBA, the Celtics. All's fair in love and war. Even a blind squirrel finds some Kool-Aid every now and then. Number 26 in Big C's NBA power rankings. The Indiana Pacers haven't been too great for the New Look team, but they're still trying to get the momentum going in the right direction. A team out on the West Coast, the Sacramento Kings, comes at number 25 in Big C's NBA power rankings. Now, the Kings, I still don't understand why they got rid of Halliburton and Hill. The Kings looked as if they might go undefeated with Sabonis after a win over the Wizards on Saturday, but they came back down to earth with a 25-point loss at the hands of the Nets. How in the world did that happen? Doesn't make any sense in the world. They're just one game behind the New York Knickerbockers, coming at number 24 at Big C's NBA power rankings. The Knicks started off the week with a pretty, I guess you could say, impressive win over the Warriors. It was a lucky win, but win is a win, and they suffered a bad losses to the Blazers and the Thunder. I don't know how they beat Golden State, but it's any given game. It depends on how the ball bounces. Number 23 in Big C's NBA power rankings. You got to look at the Charlotte Hornets. Their offense had a big win over Detroit to start the week, but followed that up with consecutive losses to the Grizzlies and also the Timberwolves. Number 22 in Big C's NBA power rankings. Remember Scarface? He said, Pelican, 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 come here, Pelican. Well, the New Orleans Pelicans had only one win this week, but it was a 30-point beatdown of the Raptors. Now, who would have ever thought that a Pelican could take down a Raptor? Well, he did. All's fair in love and war. Number 21 in Big C's NBA power rankings. The San Antonio Spurs. A great week for the Spurs, who beat the Hawks and also the Pelicans. And then the Thunder was the only loss coming on the road to the Chicago Bulls. All's fair in love and war. Number 20 in Big C's NBA power rankings. You got to look at the Washington Wizards. A team I thought would be much better. They were able to pick up a couple of wins this week, but also lost some winnable games against the Kings and also the Pacers. We'll see how it turns around for them. I'm going to go with number 19 in Big C's NBA power rankings. And I know everybody has their own thoughts about it, but the Portland Trailblazers, they go into full tank mode by trading C.J. McCollum and Norman Powell. They lose Nassar Little for the season with a shoulder injury. And I don't know what they're going to do to keep Dollar Dame happy up there, because it just doesn't make any sense that they got rid of McCollum when he and Dollar Dame were together when they led them to the NBA Western Conference Finals and they lost to Golden State. Those were the two guys that did it. The number 18 in Big C's NBA power rankings, the Los Angeles Lakers at Crypto.com Arena. They have King James. Even with the Lakers win, they found a way to lose. People make a lot of fun of their star player, Anthony Davis, again. Man, kind of feel for him. He's never really able to stay healthy. And now you got more issues because he's going to be out a couple of weeks. Anthony Davis left the game with a bad ankle sprain. Could keep him out an extended period, maybe a couple of weeks. But the Lakers got to figure out what to do. They will make the playoffs. I don't care what people say. They're not going to get knocked out. You know, just a couple of spots ahead of the LA Lakers in Big C's NBA power rankings, you have the Brooklyn Nets. When you think about Ben Simmons, when will he make his debut for Brooklyn? And then Kevin Durant, when will he return? They just need these guys ready for the playoffs, and maybe about 10 games before the playoffs. They got to get their chemistry down, but give the ball to Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, and I think they'll be fine. Number 16 in Big C's NBA power rankings, the Clippers. When you think about it, they're a good team. In fact, they're the best team in LA. They beat the Warriors. I mean, that if you can knock off Golden State, you're doing okay. I'm telling you, they're the best team in LA right now, but they will make the playoffs too. The number 15 in Big C's NBA power rankings, you have the Minnesota Timberwolves. They beat the Pacers. They beat the Hornets this week, and then they lost to the Bulls and the Raptors, and a lot of people would lose to a Bull and a Raptor. Number 14 in Big C's NBA power rankings, the Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks lost to the Spurs and the rising Celtics to start the week and they bounced back to beat the Cavs and the Magic. Trae Young's knocking out about 28 points a game. Number 13 in Big C's NBA power ranking, the Toronto Raptors came down to earth slightly this week, losing to the Nuggets and the Pelicans. I wonder what Raptor Nuggets taste like. I'm sure they found out. Number 12 in Big C's NBA power rankings, the Utah Jazz up in the Wasatch Mountain ran their winning streak to 6 games with victories over the Magic and the Rockets to start out the week. They allowed a 12-point lead to disappear down the stretch, but it's all fair and love and war. That's a team that's still going to make some noise as we get closer to the playoffs. Number 11 in Big C's NBA power rankings, the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm going to do the best LeBron James I can. Cleveland, this is for you. The Cavaliers beat the Pacers to start the week before dropping games to the 76ers and the Atlanta Hawks. And now this is a team that has everything right in front of them. I mean, they're without Kyrie Irving. They were out LeBron James and Thompson when they were in the finals. They had those players. They don't have them now. And now they're still knocking on the door of the Eastern Conference. Number 10 in Big C's NBA power rankings, the Denver Nuggets. They lost to the Celtics to start the week, but then picked up wins over the Raptors, the Magic, and a last-second three-pointer to beat the Golden State Warriors. The buzzer beater by Monty Morris off a dish from Nikola Jokic. It was great NBA-style playoff basketball at Chase Center last night, all fair and level war. Number 9 in Big C's NBA power rankings, you have the defending NBA champion Milwaukee Bucks. When you think about this whole season, it's been about, are the Bucks good enough to repeat? Yes, they are. They were blown out by the Suns in a rematch of last year's finals to start the week, but they had just come off of a big game beating up on the LA Lakers, and Giannis dropped 44 points. So they were on a high going into Phoenix, and they just didn't hold up against the Phoenix Suns, but they're a good team. I'm telling you, Giannis returned, he's something, 50 points, 14 rebounds in a win over the Pacers, and I call him King Giannis. As an African-American man in Black History Month, I still cringe when people call black men freaks, and everybody claps and cheers. How about call the announcers freaks when it comes out of your mouth? If he's a freak, you're a freak. I call him a king, if that makes sense to you. You gotta have respect for you gotta respect your fathers. If all people knew all life came out of Africa, you wouldn't call men of color freaks. And how they get away with it, I have no idea. They don't call the commissioner Adam Silver a freak. They don't call him the Jewish freak. They call him Commissioner Adam Silver. They don't call Jerry Jones the freak. They call him owner Jerry Jones. They don't call the Bus family of freaks, Jenny Bus. They don't call her Jenny Bus the freak. They call her Jenny Bus, owner of the Lakers. Could you imagine if they call LeBron James the freak? They call him King James. Well, Giannis is last year's Finals MVP. It's amazing how people will continue to denigrate you if you don't know where you come from. It's like the Willie Lynch letter all over again. And you'll hear it all the time on NBA. Oh, look at the freak. Are you talking about the white broadcasters that call him that? Think about that the next time they call him freak. You had women just settle a lawsuit with the Dallas Cowboys because they said that they were getting some sexual pressure, that it was unwanted. And they got a $2.4 million settlement. And they call this beautiful black man a freak all the time, and they clap about it. Just change the name and call the broadcaster a freak next time they do that. Number 8 in Big C's NBA power rankings, a new era of Philadelphia basketball on hold for right now. James Harden won't make his debut until after the All-Star break. And I think they're going to be fine as long as he gets the ball into the hands of the great Joel Embiid. All's fair in love and war. They're a good team. Really can't wait to see what's going to happen. I'm going to say number 6 in Big C's, actually number 7 in Big C's NBA power rankings. The Boston Celtics. This is a good team. They've been Johnny Morris is gone, Larry Bird back in action. They've been doing their thing, playing like the days of McHale and Bird and Johnson and the Chiefs, all those good old boys. Parrish was amazing. DJ, amazing. Larry Bird, all of them. McHale, Casey Jones coaching those good old boys. Danny Ainge was running the point guard. The Celtics are now playing like the teams back in the 80s. So they move up in the power rankings. They got wins over the Nuggets, over the Hawks, and the 76ers to start the week. They're a good team. Can't wait to see what happens with them. I'm going to say number 6 in Big C's NBA power rankings. I'm going to say the Dallas Mavericks. there produced one of the more shocking moments in the trade when they got rid of Kristaps Porzingis, sent him over to the Wizards. I don't understand why they did that, but I bring them in at number 6. Number 5 in Big C's NBA power rankings, the Golden State Warriors, Coach Kerr. I'm telling you, they had a couple of close losses. Nothing to get upset or nervous about. Going into the All-Star break on a high note, they would have rather had that. But when you lose in a last-second shot, you know you're right there. It's not like they lost by 10. But this is a team that's going to get their groove back. It's amazing when you see what's going to happen with Golden State because they've been playing good basketball without the great Draymond Green. Think about that. 4 losses in 5 games for Golden State. They missed Draymond Green and Andre Iguodala. They're going to get those good boys back. Curry's dropping about 29 points a game, and they're going to be okay. That's going to be a good team going down the stretch. And number 4 in Big C's NBA power rankings, I'm going to say the Miami Heat. If you can't stand the Heat, you get out of the kitchen with wins over the Pelicans and the Brooklyn Nets. The Heat's winning streak to 5 games before the loss to the Mavericks on Tuesday. Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo combined to average over 46 points and 20 rebounds per game. And Kyle Lowry's been doing his thing at about 13 points a game. A team that surprises a lot of people, and even me, because when you go up and down the Eastern Conference, I would have thought you could easily say Miami Heat. You could easily say the Philadelphia 76ers, the Brooklyn Nets, the defending NBA champion Milwaukee Bucks. But the Chicago Bulls, when you think about it, they didn't have the toughest schedule to overcome, but they won 3 of their 4 games without the great Zach LaVine. He has a knee injury now. And also DeMar DeRozan has been playing out of his mind. And he broke the record set by Wilt Chamberlain. That good boy, he became the first player in NBA history to score at least 35 points while shooting at least 50% from the field in 7 consecutive games. And imagine, he used to be up in Toronto. Number 2 in Big C's NBA power rankings. Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. The Vancouver Grizzlies. Hold on, that's a typo. I told you I'm not scripted. I gotta go by my higher self. I've been drinking the Big C coffee, and it has some amazing stuff in it. And I'm telling you, the Big C coffee is called Super Brain Performance Fuel, and it comes with. I shouldn't give all the ingredients in it. In fact, I won't. But some of the stuff in it is patented, designed to support mental focus, attention and recall, and it also says that it's guaranteed to make you talk a little bit faster than you normally do, and I verified it. I think I gave away the clue as to why I talk a little bit faster. It's the T. The plane. Remember the movie? The plane, boss, the plane. Well, when I talk so fast, all people got to do is say, the T, boss, the T. It's all fair in level war. But the Memphis Grizzlies come in number 2 in Big C's NBA power rankings. Saw his winning streak hit 6 games after victories over the Pistons, the Hornets, and the Pelicans. They dropped a home game to the Blazers on Wednesday, but this team had already won 11 in a row earlier in the year. Or maybe it was 10 in a row and they had it stopped. But they're a good team. Right now, man, they're trying to scoot over, musical chairs. Back in high school or elementary school, we played musical chairs. They would have 3 chairs and then 6 people trying to sit in 3 chairs. And you go round and round and round. You sit down and then you have to get out. They would down to get down to 2 chairs. So they found a way to get a winner. Well, the musical chairs in the Western Conference, they're right there trying to tell people, hey, scoot over. I want a seat at the table. And I'm telling you, Ja Morant, the star, dropped 44 points in a loss. They're a good team. Can't wait to see how Ja Morant turns out once he finds out where the weight room is down there in Memphis. Number 1 in the Big C's NBA power rankings. The number 1 seeded for right now, Phoenix Suns. Give them good old some praise. It's all fair and love and war. And the Phoenix Suns, they've won 4 more games this week. None more impressive than the beatdown of the defending NBA champion Milwaukee Bucks. But remember, last year they started 2-0 against the Bucks in the finals, and the Bucks came back and won it in 6. So it was 1 game. But this is a team that's not. They didn't get to 50 before the All-Star break, but it's amazing when you think about how good this team is. The great Devin Booker cooled off a little bit, but you got DeAndre Ayton, Mikal Bridges, the great Chris Paul, which is really like another coach on the floor. This team, they got to show me first, because they did this to us last year. They got us caught with the okie doke. But they're a good NBA basketball team. And you know, when you think about it, Matthew Stafford played for Detroit, I think, 12 seasons. His 13th season, he got traded to the Los Angeles Rams, and he was able to win a Super Bowl. So if you look at Chris Paul, he's been all around the league. He was doing his thing down in Houston before he had the hamstring issue. And then he's over here and having the chance. He was over for the Clippers in Los Angeles. Now he's in Phoenix. And there's rumors that Chris Paul may get traded to the LA Rams. Okay, maybe not. But, you know, it worked for Von Miller, it worked for Matthew Stafford. Maybe Chris Paul would play for the Rams and he'll win a championship too. I just don't think he's going to win a championship this year in Phoenix. But that's Big C's power rankings for the NBA basketball universe. I'm going to take what's called the Big C pause in the words of former California governor and Terminator on a Sports Nigga. I'll be back. All right, we're back from the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 23 podcast applications all over the universe. We do appreciate that. Streaming on Sport TV applications as well. The pitch, swung on, hit deep, right field, back to the wall, home run. Say hello to my little friends. I hope we can have that this year for Major League Baseball. Little progress toward the CBA in the latest bargaining session between Major League Baseball and Major League Baseball. I'm telling you, the unions are as good. I'm telling you, but they can't seem to get out of their own way. Baseball players make more money than anybody else outside of some soccer players. But a bargaining session between Major League Baseball and the Players Union lasted just 15 minutes. Think about that. Why can't they just get along? Now, the union offered to tweak its arbitration demands while asking Major League Baseball for, make me want to cough, more money. They make more money than anybody. They need more money. They're trying to kill the golden goose. Isn't that something? They're trying to get more money. So a 3-man Major League Baseball delegation led by Deputy Commissioner Paul Halen arrived shortly before 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, and just a 6th negotiating session on core economics since the work stoppage began in December because they need more money. Think about that. Both sides met on the 78th day of the lockout, and 1 day after spring training workouts were scheduled to commence. But they decided they need more money, and they can't figure it out. Now, players expressed anger about Major League Baseball's lack of movement on the competitive balance tax, while the league expressed frustration about the union's lack of counteroffer and the game's core economic issues, according to some sources. But I think about Major League Baseball is expecting another proposal tomorrow, and hopefully they'll figure it out. In the new proposal, the union asked for 80% of players with 2 years of service time to enter the arbitration system, down from a previous request of 100%. Currently, 22% of second-year players, known as Super 2s, entered arbitration. Under the new offer, 20% of second-year players would remain in pre-arbitration, but the union also increased its request to $115 million in the pre-arbitration bonus pool for the top 150 players. Major League Baseball is offering $15 million to the top 30 players, according to some information out there. I guess it's okay to want more money. We all do. But why would they try to kill the golden goose? They're making more money than ever before. The owners locked out the players on December 2nd after the last collective bargaining agreement expired. With spring games scheduled to begin February 26th, there's a little bit of hope that it may happen, but any games will be played in Arizona or Florida this month. Spring camps need to open early by March for the regular season to start on time. Why are they trying to mess with that? Isn't that something? It's crazy. They have so much money. There's also some news that free agent Matt Harvey could be suspended by Major League Baseball, could be suspended after admission of opioid distribution. Matt Harvey can find a team that's willing to sign him if they close their eyes to what he was doing, and could immediately be suspended for at least 60 days for saying that he provided opioids to Tyler Skaggs on several occasions. And we know that that young man had lost his life. Now, I always, not to be insensitive, I've never taken drugs in my life. I've been offered. I've known guys that sold them and used them. Athletes that put needles in their backside too. I'm not saying, look at me. But like I tell my own children, don't do drugs. I've known people who've passed away from using drugs, overdosing, known them personally. And the people that gave them the drugs knew them too. Isn't that something? I've seen it with my own two eyes. And it's amazing. It's a shame that a player lost his life because, he said yes. Players testified Tuesday and Wednesday in the federal criminal trial of Eric Kay, the former Los Angeles Angels communications director. And Kay faces 2 felony charges. Distributing fentanyl. And it caused the death of an athlete back in 2019. And would you believe? He was convicted. The jury found Eric Kay guilty of distributing fentanyl and causing the death of former pitcher Tyler Skaggs. There's no evidence that he forced him to take the drugs. So kids all over the country, I've seen athletes say, man, I got to do it to get bigger, stronger, and faster. They were popping steroids. They were shooting them in the backside, in the butt. And some guys got bigger, stronger, and faster. But it also caused some health problems too. So not being insensitive to anybody, but, and I want to sound like get off my lawn, but the federal jury found the former Los Angeles Angels director of communication, Eric Kay, guilty on 2 felony counts, agreeing with the government that he distributed the deadly drug fentanyl and caused the death of Angels pitcher Tyler Skaggs. They don't say anywhere in the case that he forced him to take it. Now, he's not going to be sentenced until June 28th. He faces a minimum of 20 years in a federal penitentiary. Think about that the next time somebody tries to give you drugs. It's a really tragic story. The jury took less than 2 hours to deliberate after the 8-day trial. It saw 8 major league players take the witness stand, 5 of whom admitted to their own drug use. And these guys are still playing baseball. Isn't that something? It's a sad story. Now, college kids especially, because some kids think they got to take drugs to make it to the majors. But Kay had admitted to providing oxycodone to Skaggs and other players. But the defense said the 2 men were simply fellow addicts before they met with Kay, who would pay for their drugs and that he would handle the transactions. Kay did not testify in trial. I'm sure Kay wasn't the only time they've gotten drugs from somebody. I know people don't want to look at the people who succumb to drug overdose. They want to blame the person that gave them the drugs. I knew some drug dealers growing up. I still know some of them. And they get people hooked on the drugs. So what do you say? Say no. I know people made fun of the late First Lady Nancy Reagan, just say no. But it really is a very salient message, just say no. You can't talk to people who's going to do it. They're going to tell you, hey, F you, man. F you, man. I'll do what I want to do. F you, man. I've been told that too. By people that I cared about. F you, man. You can't tell me blick. So obviously, a man lost his life because he took the drugs. Does it matter who gave him the drugs? He didn't say no. He did not. He refused to say no. And I know that may seem insensitive, But I know people who've also lost their lives to overdose because they refuse to say no. And the people that told them, come on, man, you can do it. You can do the drug, man. It's fun. It's going to be good for you. Man, it's going to make you relax. You're going to get such a high. When some of the people that I love were in the hospital, you know, the people that gave them the drugs, they didn't show up. When some of the people that I knew went to prison for selling drugs, the people that told them to do it, they didn't show up and say, hey, I'll go to prison for you. One of my best friends in fact, two of my best friends growing up, got into the same industry. Great athletes, good-looking young men. Both of them have passed away because that business takes its toll on people. It's just real talk. So we can give thoughts and prayers, or we can tell people just say no. And oftentimes you're going to be told, hey, F you, man, you can't tell me anything. I'll do what I want to do. And that was told to me many times. So that's my message. I know I'm the get off my lawn type, but just say no. Back in the day, there's a man by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He was known as the Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, you float like a butterfly, you sting like a bee, rumble, young man, rumble. With all you've got to use, how can you lose? Ali would say, I'm so pretty, I can't possibly get beat. I float like a butterfly, I sting like a bee, because all these big C burgers make me out of my feet. That's why I'm always rumbling, young man, rumbling. And that Big C coffee comes in one size, extra large. In the bathroom, that's all I always hold the guys. On friend level, what my beautiful mother always says, there's never ever an excuse for racism or domestic violence. If you know any man, woman, or child going through that garbage, pick up the phone and ask for help. Because no man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. And as we always tell you on every Big C Sports Show, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope that you have a super fantastic day.